Have you ever noticed how combining two simple things can create something, well, extraordinary? I mean, think about it. Salt and caramel, a guitar and a drum kit. They're good on their own, sure, but when you put them together, they create something so much bigger. It turns out this exact same idea, this principle of synergy, is actually a cornerstone of ancient healing. So, let's dive right in.
Right? A lone violin can be absolutely beautiful, no question. But a duet? A duet creates a harmony, a depth that a single instrument just can't touch. That concept of two things working together to create an effect that's way bigger than the sum of their parts, that is exactly what we're going to explore today, right in the fascinating world of traditional Chinese medicine.
And this leads us right to our main topic, Du Shui. It literally means point pairs, and it's the art and the science of combining two very specific acupuncture points to create a targeted, supercharged healing response. You know, it's not just picking 2 points at random. It's a therapeutic duet that's been composed and refined over thousands of years.
So, where do we even start with these incredible duets? Well, let's start at the top, with the body's command center. We're going to look at the head, our senses, and the point pairs that are used in really critical, even emergency-type situations.
Okay, what's so wild about this slide is the sheer urgency it's dealing with. I mean, look at that first pair, DU26 and LI4. This is a go-to combination for something as serious as fainting or collapse. It's designed to powerfully jolt the system back to consciousness. But this same targeted action works for our senses, too. For swollen, angry red eyes, you've got UB1, a point right there at the eye, paired with LV2, way down on the foot, to clear heat from the entire channel. For something like tinnitus caused by what's called liver fire, you can think of that as excess inflammatory energy. SJ17 and GB2 work together right around the ear. And then for a stuffy nose, you've got LI20 by the nostril paired up with our old friend LI4 again to get things opened up. Every single one is a specific duet for a very specific job. All right, so we've covered the command center. Now let's move to the body's first line of defense, how it deals with the outside world. We're talking about protecting ourselves from things like wind, heat, and other environmental stuff that can throw us off balance.
And this just shows you how the body fights off invaders. The top pair, GB20 and DU16, right at the base of the skull, is a classic for kicking out that wind that gives you a common cold or a stiff neck. When things get hotter, like with a fever or a bad sore throat, you see LI4 and LI11 paired up to clear what's called wind heat. Then for skin problems, you get this amazing duet of LI11 and SP10 to cool the blood and stop that maddening itch from hives. And finally, to clear out what's called toxic heat, think of the kind of intense heat that causes a bad toothache or swollen gums. LI4 gets paired with ST44. These duets are basically helping the body show pathogens the door and calm everything down.
Okay, let's hit pause for a second. As we've been going through these, have you started to see a pattern? Are there any points that just keep showing up again and again, but in different combinations?
Yes, you're not imagining it. Some points are like the all-stars, the multi-tools of the body's entire system. Large intestine 4, or Hegu, is the perfect example. We've already seen it for fainting, a stuffy nose, fever, and pain. It's just an incredibly versatile point. And the same goes for stomach 36 and spleen 6. These are what you'd call master points, and you can pair them in all sorts of ways to get a huge range of different healing effects. So we've looked at the command center and the external defenses. Now, let's go a little deeper inside the body. This section is all about keeping our internal engine room running smoothly, regulating our core systems like the lungs and our entire digestive tract. And now we're getting to the core of it all. Notice that first pair, RN22 and LU5. It targets the lungs to help stop coughing and asthma. And then look, our all-star, stomach 36, shows up again and again for digestion. Paired with UB17, it can tackle really serious stuff like vomiting blood. Paired with RN21, it helps kickstart a weak digestive system and bring back your appetite. And when it's paired with ST25, this is amazing. It helps regulate the intestines, whether the problem is constipation or diarrhea. It's all about restoring balance. These duets are designed to fix the functional problem at its root.
All right, for our last set of examples, we're going to focus on the body's actual physical framework, our muscles, bones, and joints. We'll also see how these point pairs are used to manage pain and regulate some of the body's most important cycles.
This slide is just fantastic because it shows you the incredible precision of Du Shui. See, low back pain is not just low back pain. Is it a chronic, dull ache that's been there forever and feels better with a little pressure? Well, that points to a deficiency, so a practitioner might use a nourishing pair like DU4 and Kidney 3. But what if it's a sharp stabbing pain because you just twisted the wrong way? That's an acute injury, and it needs a whole different strategy, using a dynamic pair like SI3 and UB60 to get things moving and relieve that pain. It's a perfect example of treatment that's driven by a really specific diagnosis.
And that precision is all over the body. It really is like having a detailed roadmap for pain relief. You've got a specific pair, GB20 and GB39, for neck and shoulder pain. You have another for the elbow and arm, LU5 and LI11, that treats something called bias syndrome, which you can think of as a painful obstruction, kind of like an arthritis. There's a classic combo, GB30 and GB34, for sciatica that runs down the leg, and even a targeted duet of GB34 and SP9 for specific kinds of knee pain. It's this incredibly comprehensive system for musculoskeletal problems, all built on these smart, synergistic pairs.
This whole principle also extends into highly specialized areas like gynecological health. There are pairs to regulate menstruation, like RN6 and ST25. And look, our all-stars LI4 and SP6 are back, teaming up to powerfully move energy and blood to help with period pain. It even extends into pregnancy and postpartum care, with specific duets used to help with lactation, or, and this is truly remarkable, the combination of ST36 and UB67, which is used to help encourage a malpositioned fetus to turn. So after looking at all of this, from fainting to back pain to the common cold, what's the bottom line? The really crucial takeaway is this: Duishe is not a random mix-and-match game. It is a deliberate, highly strategic clinical system. Each pair is like a carefully written prescription, designed to create a very precise, super-powered healing effect.
You know, this ancient proverb just says it all, doesn't it? The same way an herbalist combines different herbs to create a balanced formula, an acupuncturist uses these point pairs to create a treatment that's way more powerful and nuanced. The magic isn't only in the individual points, but in the partnership they create.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. You know, in our modern world, we're often looking for that one single magic bullet, that one specialized treatment for one specific symptom. But what can we learn from a system like Du Shui that is built from the ground up on the power of partnership, on synergy, and on creating a holistic balance? Definitely something to consider.